stop doing it. Just stop it. Stop it.
What's up guys, Jesse and Melissa with Adventure Endeavor here, and we are here today to talk about RV mistakes that we have made in the past that you should probably avoid.
Yeah, this will definitely help you not mess up like we did. And some of them are costly, some of them are annoying, but in general, just take this video to heart and don't do the things that we did. One of the things I would say that is a very big deal is do not be under trucked, meaning make sure you have enough tow vehicle for your fifth wheel or for your travel trailer. We did that a while ago. We had a 2500 towing a 40-foot toy hauler. Yes, we were wild and crazy, and this was before kids. We did it for about 2 years. We had no issues. Never really felt unsafe in my opinion, but I will tell you this, it feels much safer now with the 4500 towing our new camper. So be very cautious and make sure you have enough truck for whatever you're towing.
Yeah, technically we were apparently within the limits of the truck, but no? Oh, okay.
We were probably overweight.
Oh.
Not like a ton, but we were definitely overweight.
And I think like psychologically that also kind of made it more stressful towing with that truck. So now we've got a 4500 for our new Alliance Paradigm 395 DS, and it just feels so much safer. It is the right truck for the job, and that's a really, really important thing that cannot be understated. Another thing that we've learned that we heard before we started RVing, but we decided to test the waters ourselves and see how much we could get away with, was doing really, really long travel days. Those get really exhausting and really
they're
stressful
fun.
Sometimes. Yeah,
the stress compounds, and then on top of that, you start to make more mistakes. You make silly mistakes, things that you normally don't make mistakes on, and there's a lot of different things that can happen. And then now for us too with kids, we really even have to cut that down. Typically they say 3 hours or 300 miles is kind of like the average that you should try to do for a travel day. We still do that a lot with kids, but honestly it's too much in my opinion.
Yeah, a general rule of thumb that I've heard thrown out on YouTube before is like the rule of threes. So no later than 3 p.m. So try to end your travel day before 3 p.m. drive no more than 300 miles and no more than 3 hours. That's
a perfect segue into not driving at night. Our first year on the road, we drove at night all the time because Melissa would work, and we were like go go go, and we were constantly like letting her work the full day, and then we would hop in the truck and drive 2, 3, 4 hours. And the driving is not necessarily a tricky thing, but it is the getting to your site. And then if anything goes wrong, a lot of stores are closed if you need like an auto part, or if you have a breakage, then it's just dark. It just compounds any issue you may have. But backing into your site is never great in the dark. Try to avoid it if you can.
Yeah, and I mean generally just try, if you're working on the road, try to avoid traveling on a work day as well, like whether it's after work or like during work or before work. It's just a lot. I mean, we still do this sometimes, and it's never a fun day. We do it occasionally because we have to, because we don't want to then burn a weekend day traveling, but definitely just less stressful in general traveling on a weekend day than on a work day. Another piece of advice that we have, ask us how we know, is get a bike rack for the front of your vehicle instead of the rear. On our very first rig, we had our bike rack on the rear bumper.
It was just on the bumper.
It was not a good situation. It broke once. We welded it and fixed it, and then it just bounced like crazy across the country on that rear bumper, and we actually got really lucky because we pulled into a boondocking spot one night as the bumper was cracking, and so when we got there and parked, our bikes were hanging
We almost
off.
lost everything.
We totally could have lost that
And
very
we could have
easily.
hurt someone.
We could have hurt somebody. We could, yeah, like it could have flown off like into their windshield. Like it could have been a really, really bad situation. And we got extremely lucky that none of that happened. But those rear racks, especially on most fifth wheels, are not usually of very high quality, not set up to have something back there bouncing around like that.
Even if you have a full-on hitch on the back of your camper, I don't recommend it in the back because they just bounce and it's just gonna beat up your bikes. We have one on the front of our truck. We should have did it a long time ago. I can see the bikes. I can watch if one of the mounts for the bikes comes loose, because your rack might be fine, your bike could just fly off. So I can see it, I inspect it often, and it just doesn't bounce in the front. So we highly recommend a front bike rack. So this is something we have definitely learned over here in the Midwest and heading towards the east. Grass is not hard packed. Do not drive on grass. So we've been experiencing a lot of rain, a lot of storms, and we have gotten stuck in the mud twice now. Once was pretty bad. The first time it wasn't too bad, but I would just always assume that grass is gonna be saturated. You're gonna sink in and you're gonna have issues. If you keep that in mind, you'll be good.
Another thing that we recommend is definitely getting a propane fire pit. We learned this the hard way. We were having a garage sale, getting rid of all of our stuff, getting ready to full time, and for some silly reason, we thought that we were gonna be having like wood fires, real fires, all the time. So we had a propane fire pit that we sold at our garage sale, and then our first week on the road, we went to an RV park where wood fires were not allowed, and everybody had a propane fire pit out, and we were not able to sit outside and enjoy a fire because we did no longer have a propane fire pit.
That was my fault. I sold everything. Fire sale. We literally had a fire sale. Just stop doing it. Just stop it. Stop it. And that is stop buying construction generators. Oh my gosh. You're like, oh, I have this massive generator. It's super heavy. It's open frame. Like, yeah, it makes a lot of power, but it also makes a lot of noise. And you save maybe a couple $100. Just get yourself a nice inverter style generator that's quieter. It's probably lighter, and they make them in all different sizes. You're gonna spend a little bit more money, but trust me, you're gonna like it more, and your neighbors are definitely gonna appreciate it.
If you're camping somewhere where you don't have a water spigot available, so if you're boondocking or maybe you just have an electric hookup for whatever reason, don't run out of water. So just keep an eye on your water levels on that little indicator on your control panel, and maybe get like a water jugs or a water bladder to go fill up like anywhere that you can get water if you start to get low.
Yeah, we have a massive bladder, but you can get a couple 5-gallon jerry cans or just a small bladder just in case. And then another thing that we have done in the past is if you think your water is that low and you're like, I just really want a shower, just take a rinse. Don't use soap, because God forbid you use soap and then you run out of water, you're in trouble. You're in deep water, but you don't have water. So just take a rinse or rinse. That's what we call it. That's just, you just rinse with water.
Yeah.
It still feels better, and then you don't risk being covered with soap and then being out of water. That's not good. Last, but definitely not least, this probably should have been towards the front, is don't get a divorce. And what I mean by this is when you're backing into your site, or parking in general, do not argue with your significant other. You can use your cell phones to back in, you can get radios, or realistically, all you need to do is have your hand signals and know what you are doing before you're about to do it. We typically always try to have like a game plan before we pull into a site, so we're both on the same page. The site we just pulled into at this spot, it took us forever. And I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a weird spot, but also we have kids now too, which throw a whole nother wrench into the thing. But do your best to communicate before, during, and after, So every time you're going to get better and better at backing in or parking your camper.
Yes, and if you feel the situation or the stress levels escalating between you and your family, your spouse, your partner, just take a pause. Just slow down, take a pause, maybe get out, communicate, readjust your game plan, just try to woosah.
And remember, happy wife, happy life.